chance to meet one of these duelists earlier, and he's very excited just to be here, and excited to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And both these players you mentioned are going to be the top of the bracket. I believe they both have 6 points, so that means they have one.
So we have one undefeated duelist. Jeong has 9 points right now, and Satanantana is 2 wins and 1 draw with 7 points. So these are 2 duelists towards the top of the standings. It appears that Satanantana has won the dice roll.
All right, let's go and see what strategy he's doing. It looks like we finally have the red sleeves on the red side, blue sleeves on the blue side.
It's always nice when things match. And Satanantana is going to start things off, revealing it's called Dragon Link. Yep, Black Metal Dragon.
We saw this earlier. Poly won with a Dragon Link. We'll have to see if it works out the same here. He's going to link it away into Striker Dragon. That's going to be 2 chain links, so he's going to be able to add a Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon from the deck to hand, along with the Boot Sector launch. Striker Dragon, pretty good. Ooh, you can see that variant artwork for Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Very beautiful. Now, it doesn't look like he used Striker Dragon to add the Boot Sector, unless I missed it. He might have already have it in hand.
So just chain link 1 here with the Black Metal Dragon. Not the best. Like to get that extra card out instead of opening with it. He's going to go ahead and banish the Striker Dragon for Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon.
This is the exact same way that Poly started his turn 1, but it's going to be a little different.
Special summon Starliege Seifert.
Yep, from the hand, and now he's going to be able to send that Starliege Seifert to add. Let's see what he decides to add. It's going to be a level 8 lighter dark monster. Or no, sorry, it's going to be level 4 since he is sent itself, so it's going to be 4.
So we haven't seen a Chaos space here, so it could be one of the baby Chaos Dragons.
Yep, Starliege Seifert working similar to Chaos Space, which is giving you access to one of those baby dragons.
And it's going to be Wyverburster. Black Metal Dragon is banished. Special summon the Wyverburster.
Now he has 2 dragons on the field.
And those 2 are combined once again. For Romulus, we got Romulus first this time. So chain link 1 is Wyverburster, chain link 2 is Romulus. We're going to get the Dragon Ravine first. There it is.
I'm going to grab that Black Dragon Collapse Serpent. Big fan of Dragon Link. It's just, even though we call it Dragon Link, it's kind of been the same deck. Because, I mean, the Striker Dragon, a lot of the cards it uses are very similar. It always adds new dragons. As more new dragons come out, the deck adapts and changes throughout the years and gets even better.
Every time a new dragon you can special summon is released, all the Dragon Link players of the world rejoice.
Yes, they come out of hiding and they're like, it's time to play Dragon Link again. All right, now taking a moment to consider his options.
Taking a look at his graveyard here. Doing some quick math already. Well, it's not damage math. This got to be summon math.
Maybe counting to 5. That's one of your first
counting
numbers.
To 5 is one of the most common pieces of summon math.
I think he is at 5 already here with the Romulus. 5 monsters in the graveyard / banished. I think that's right. And now he's going to activate. Oh, almost looked like he was going to activate Dragon Ravine. Oh, it indeed does.
You got to be careful because you already have the Boot Sector, right? Because you didn't search it out with Striker Dragon. You're going to go ahead and send Bestial Serenir, send Absorrouter Dragon.
So he's going to be able to send that Branded Speller Trap to the graveyard and add a Rocket Monster from the deck to the hand. Going to probably send something like Branded Regained, so maybe he'll be able to get Branded Beast from the deck later on to reactivate. Going to add Rocket Caliber.
And send Bestial Lubellion.
Oh, because he does have the Seifert in the graveyard, so he'll be able to add that Bestial Lubellion back from the graveyard to the hand.
And there's a world here where there's something, that replaces the Rocket Tracer that you often see with this play, but we'll have to wait and see. It appears that Jeong has called a judge in. We're going to get a quick look at the text of Rocket Caliber.
The big thing is a level 4 tuner.
Yes. The other effects of it don't come up that much. Mainly because the card isn't on the field for particularly long.
Exactly. Gonna banish that Safer from the graveyard to add back that Bestial Lubellion, so now he'll be able to use that Lubellion to access any Bestial monster from the deck.
And there's Bestial Magnuma. Goes through his graveyard once again. He's not summoned the Collapse Serpent quite yet.
Alright, going to see about what he wants to banish or a Bestial, I believe. Or yeah, or the Collapse Serpent as well. He's number of monsters that banish from the graveyard to summon from the hand. And here comes the Bestial Magnet targeting Absorouter.
Absorouter banished, Magnet on the field. Magnet effect activates. There is no response, it appears, so during the end phase, TearlamentJeong will be able to add a dragon to his hand.
Gonna tribute that Magnet to special summon back the Bestial Lubellion from the graveyard. Gonna be able to use the effect here to activate a continuous branded spell or trap from the deck. Place it straight up on the field. Goes for Branded Regained. Really strong card. Anytime a Lighter Dark's banished, you can put it to the bottom and draw a card. And then if your opponent summons a monster, normal or special, you can special summon back a Bestial monster from your graveyard.
Pretty good place to have the Magnet then. You can just get it back, keep the dragons flowing.
Indeed. And now it looks like he's going to banish that Wyverburster.
And now we see the Collapse Serpent.
So he's going to use that Branded Regain to put the Wyverburster onto the bottom and draw a card.
Yep, so now we need a randomization here. We haven't had one quite yet. No drawing effects have been played, only searching. So now we randomize, put it on the bottom, draw one card for Branded Regained.
Calculating, thinking. Now he's going to link away for link 1. Probably Guard Dragon Pitsty.
Yeah, the Striker Dragon is not back into the extra deck yet. So it is Guard Dragon Pitsty. And then at this point you get the second zone to point to.
Did he add the Wyverburster back? It didn't look like it.
Went to the bottom of the deck, right?
Yeah, and then he linked away the Collapse Serpent. I don't think he added it afterwards, but maybe not. I might have missed him adding it. Now he's going to link away those two for Triple Burst.
So that gives you the 2 zones pointed to by Guard Dragon Pitsty.
Allowing you to special summon a Banished Dragon or one from your graveyard.
And we missed what got the Tracer onto the field there.
I think... Yeah, I missed it as well. And now he's going to Synchro Summon.
That's a level 10. So 2 zones pointed to, special summon back to Serenir, use it with the Rocket Tracer. Make the Bestial Dispouter.
So the Dispouter is going to be able to special summon a Banished Lighter Dark monster. Let's see what he decides to bring back. Maybe that's Starlight Safer to have some follow-up, and it does look like he is going for Starlight Safer to the field.
Now, you can special summon the Rocket Coder to place a Dark Link monster points to. You can special summon from your hand to use only Dark Link monster points to. Kinda similar to Noctivision Dragon, but a little different since you control the timing a little better.
I love Noctivision Dragon though. So he's going to link into Seals.
And then Synchro Summon. Savage Dragon. And although it looked a little bit different, we got the exact same place as usual.
No Borderland Dragon, though. But he does have the regained.
So you equip the monster onto it from your graveyard, the Link monster there, and then you get half of its attack points. And I believe the Triple Burst Dragon is 2,400?
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be a plus 1,200 for 4,200 attack points total.
Pretty solid.
And then 3 Boral counters on it. You get counters equal to the Link rating of the Link monster that's equipped.
Next up, he is looking at his extra deck. Usually this is pretty much where they would end things, but...
Might be checking to see, you know, in the end phase, what dragon's going to get with Magma.
That could be the case here. Checking his extra deck again.
And this is one of those things you got to watch out for. The constant going back and forth is textbook slow play, and you will get penalized for it. In fact, we were in the meeting where the players were explained, you know, things not to do because they're considered slow play, and that was on it.
And nothing happened. It was back and forth with no play at the end result there. Interesting, but you know, sometimes it's deemed okay, but most of the time you want to avoid doing things like that because you could be in a winning position and then you receive a penalty for
it. It could just be that they were waiting for him to make the next play before applying the penalty.
True.
Because that's generally what happens is you don't stop them in the middle of the play, because then they'll restart the thinking process and then they'll do it again. You don't want them.
That makes a lot of sense.
You don't want it to be, you know, your impetus as a judge that caused them to commit the same infraction again.
Yeah, they're there to help, not hurt. Checking see how many cards he has. He has 3 cards in hand. We know one is a Bestial.
So 3 cards.
I still don't know how that Tracer got onto the field.
Yeah, I didn't see Boot Sector
or a Quick Launch, right? I just looked at the graveyard. I've been trying to check the graveyard every time to see if there's a Quick Launch that I missed.
Was there like a regained effect?
I think your opponent has to summon. Yeah, I don't know. And it only summons back Bestials, yeah. I feel like he just used a Boot Sector but didn't play it. But I could be wrong. We might have missed something.
I'm going to read Romulus again. Did it come from Bestial Dispatter?
He brought back the Safer to Dispatter, yeah.
Safer can't special summon.
Neither here nor there, though. We are on to blue player's turn, and now he looks like he has 6 cards in hand, considering his options. Can't wait to see what deck he is going to be using. So the things he has to worry about right now: Bestial in hand, Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Seers, Borderload Savage, and Dispatter can destroy, not negate right now. Oh, he's going to activate Primeval Planet Parallel Rhino.
Oh, here it is. It's Romulus.
Oh, Romulus has the effect of summon.
It's Romulus. For Dragon Monster summoned to the extra deck to his own the card points to. So Pisty being summoned triggered that effect to get the Tracer on the field.
Don't see that too
often.
That one
doesn't come up super often.
Okay. Makes sense. And now the planet is going to be able to add either a Tearlament monster or my favorite thing to add with it, Visa Starfrost.
There's still a few things this could be. This could be Vanadium. If you're going to go ahead and get Visa Starfrost, it could be Tearlaments. You could get a Tearlament monster. Tearlaments is one of those decks that it is more restricted here than anywhere else in the world.
Especially with the combined list at the World Championship.
In fact, Perlareno is limited to 1. The tier monsters are all limited to 1, including Reinhardt. Kit Kalos is gone.
Does add the
Sharon. Earth Fairy monsters all at 1. And yet, Chaos Ruler is not legal. Like, one of the things that really helps this deck out in Japan is that Chaos Ruler is still legal, but it's not here.
Definitely has a lot going against it, but it's one of those decks like players have really gravitated towards and have been using for quite some time and finding ways to keep on using it despite all the limitations. So
Johan is undefeated, so we will see how that happens.
And we're going to have Tearlament Scream be activated.
Scream is going to make it through. We're going to special summon Sharon. And I'm thinking on response to Sharon.
I feel
Multiple things you could do here.
I feel like you let this go because you wanted to be able to trigger your branded regained, maybe bring back the Magnamut.
Yeah, and you can always use your Bestial on something if it gets hit, like if they hit another tier name.
Very true, but milling or sending cards, 6 cards from the top of the deck to the graveyard is tough. That's a lot of cards being sent.
You could just take your chances, negate this, destroy it.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. So he's going to just destroy the Sharon. So he'll, so if he has the Bestial in hand, he destroys the Sharon, doesn't get to send the 3 for the Sharon, doesn't get to send the 3 for the Scream, and can banish the Sharon when he activates the effect. Not a bad choice here, using the Dispatter.
Yes, I like this. I like this a lot. So Bestial Dispatter, you can see right there. You shuffle the target back into the deck. If you shuffle into your deck, you destroy the monster. If you shuffle into your opponent's deck, you negate the activated effect. So he shuffled from his own banished cards into the deck to destroy Sharon, which will naturally stop the effect from happening because the monster that you're summoning from your hand doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, and he doesn't have another anything to fuse with, so he doesn't even activate the effect of Sharon here.
Now, Foolish Burial could get you there, get you anything you want. Send any monster from your deck to the graveyard.
Satanantana sitting in really good shape right now.
It's like a double limited card hand. That's pretty good. Foolish also limited. In fact, the Tearlament deck in general is just it's mostly limited cards.
Just one-ups all through the entire deck for the most part.
He's going to send Kelbeck.
The Ancient Vanguard.
Vanguard.
Love it.
And he's going to spin for 5 if it goes through. I think you might want to negate this.
Yeah, this might bring out the Borreload Savage Dragon effect. 5 is way too many. Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. We're going to remove a Boral counter to negate that activation. Next is Foolish Burial Goods,
which I believe might be semi-limited here.
So we got Foolish Burial Goods. It's going to send a spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard.
Soliak it is.
Soliak.
Soliak, when it's into the graveyard, lets you add any Tearlament monster from your deck to your hand. It's going to go for that copy of Tearlament's Rhino Heart,
which is also limited. It's kind of amazing how you can just make all of these one-offs work together.
Indeed, it's really cool. I'd love it if he has a Visa Starfrost or something like that in his deck as well. I'm just a big fan of that card.
I remember some of the older versions of Tearlaments played it.
Mm-hmm.
It got phased out pretty quickly.
The other cards are quite strong, and with Vicious Astrolabe
off into a different deck.
With Vicious Astrolabe, you have a little more synergy to be able to banish the heart, but with only one Rhino Heart, don't really want to banish it for Vicious Astrolabe. You'd rather shuffle it back in so you could make Kaleido.
All right, so we got normal summon Rhino Heart, Chainlink 1 Rhino Heart, Chainlink 2 Scream, Chainlink 3 Branded Regained.
So he's going to be able to bring back that Bestial Magnamut.
Chainlink 4
Sears
to put. Well, it doesn't target, but once we resolve the chain, we're going to put the Scream back in the hand. So Chainlink 4 resolves first. We put Scream back in hand. Magnamut is special summoned. Scream's effect does not exist anymore because it's a continuous spell card. The fact that it is no longer on the field means its effect no longer applies. And then we finish off with Rhino Heart because it's normally special summoning to send any Tearlament's monster from your deck to the graveyard except another copy of it, which I would be concerned if there was another copy of it because you're not allowed to play it.
Dragon Link, a scary matchup for Tearlaments, actually, because of the large Bestial package they play. Pretty much every Bestial monster they play, they probably have thrown into the deck. And being able to counter just those 1, 2, 3 monsters that Confusion summon, really, really big.
So Havness is the second of the 3.
Looks like he wants a translation for Pellerino to know when the effect to destroy will activate. And that's going to activate when a Tearlament monster is returned to the deck. If it ever happens. Maybe it's been a while since he's played against Pellerino.
We'll see if that Havness is going to happen at all. So when you send
it's
it
going to be a have-not.
Yeah, it's going to have not. You have to place Fusion Heroes from your graveyard on bottom of the deck in any order.
Yep, here comes Bestial Baldrake, and that's going to also provide another form of interruption as it hits the field.
Have to use the Havness itself. You see it says including this card over there because the Havness is gone. The rest of it will not work. So Baldrake is special summoned. You gotta shuffle before putting anything on the bottom of the deck.
He gets to draw from the... Oh, he put it back with Branded Regained. Okay, I was like, he definitely banished with the Beast Seal. Put it back with Branded Regained so he gets that draw. TearlamentJeong. So he's going to be able to banish a Tearlament's card from the graveyard, do special summon it, and then send 3 cards from the top of the deck to the graveyard. Scream cannot activate.
Scream already activated this turn. It can only activate it once per turn. So despite the fact that its effect didn't happen, it was activated. So TearlamentJeong hits the field by banishing a Tearlament's card.
Nothing.
You can spend the top 3 cards to your graveyard. See a King of a Swamp there. I don't know, maybe you've got like the Dark World fusion spell or something that could maybe make use of that.
Yeah, what I like in the TCG, and at least at the NAWCQ, what we saw with Tearlaments, they were using King of the Swamp to replace Blazing Cartasia to go into Granganol to send an App Cologne so you get access to Shadal Schism and Winda. But that was in the NAWCQ. Unsure if that is something he is packing in his deck.
So we're going to battle phase. TearlamentJeong. It's boosted up by 500 points, as it is a Tearlament's monster, so 2,800.
He's going to be able to attack over Baldrake for 300 points of damage.
And it's not looking super great, though. Not looking super great. It's just, you know, bringing Tearlament into a field where you anticipate a lot of Dragon Link,
tough.
Maybe seems difficult, because you know that deck is going to be main decking Bestials, as many as they can. It's still also 3-0. So we will see.
All right, it looks like he's going to end phase, so the Magma is going to add a copy of Bestial Saronir from the deck to the hand. Just double checking what he added there off the Magnum. It was in fact Bestial Saronir. Draws for a turn. Hand full of cards. Jeong sitting on just 1 card in hand. Really no forms of interaction. Like, he has the Tearlament Scream on the field, which will be able to send the top 3 cards from the deck to the graveyard. Since as long as he controls a Tearlament monster, and he has 2 of them right now.
Yeah, now if they're all gone before any summons happen, then out of luck.
Very much so, and we already know that LinkSatanantana has multiple Bestials in hand. I mean, at least one, so that'll, even if he happens to hit one of the Tearlament names, it'll be able to be met with a Bestial almost right away.
It's a little tougher, though, if they hit like an Agido, though. And
that's
then maybe
when
they get multiples.
That's when things can get a little crazy.
I think the goal here is to just not trigger that stream if you can. Like, if you can just win without triggering it, and I think it's possible, given what we know he has in hand from the searches
and
what's already on the field, and the disc spotter. Like, it seems like this one can be wrapped up fairly quickly. We use Branded Regained here. Put a monster back on the bottom and draw a card.
Yep, he banished the Safert to add back the Bestial Rebellion, and then he gets to put that Safert back onto the bottom.
There it is. If a lighter dark monster is banished, except during damage step, target one of them, place it on the bottom of the deck. If you do draw a card.
Such cool artwork.
I'm just going to go ahead and special summon Wyvern Burster. Alright, so Wyvern Burster is summoned, and Tearlament Scream activates.
Just going to get negated here by the Borreload Savage Dragon.
We'll use the Borreload Savage Dragon here. So it will be sent to the graveyard by card effect.
Chaos Angel.
Trap.
Chaos Angel, there are no two. Oh, he could be linking them away. I'm not going to be too excited just yet, but it was a light and a dark monster. It is a synchro summon for level 10 Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel, a really cool synchro. You don't need a tuner monster. It can treat any light or dark monster as a tuner.
Now, to be clear, Borreload Savage just negates the activation to not destroy the card.
which is beneficial here because you get to add a Tearlament's Trap otherwise.
Now the card is going away because Chaos Angel is banishing it.
Yep, and since he used a Light and a Dark monster, all his synchro monsters will be unaffected by monster effects, and the monsters he controls cannot be destroyed by battle.
Still use your own monster effects on them. These monster effects activated by the opponent.
Which is really important to keep in mind. Contemplating how to finish this game off. He is in commanding position. He still has the Dispatter effect to special summon from the banished. Once again, this is one of those situations where you are your worst own enemy. If you take too long to come up with the most optimal play when you need to just end the game, it can backfire.
And he's already taken too long once in this match. Yeah, you don't want to do it twice in the same game, let alone the same match.
It took this long just to activate Steel Dispatter. Gonna summon back that Rocket Caliber. Like, it's okay to play careful, but you need to play quickly. Normal summon Starly Safer. Looks like a Link summon, maybe, which you can't do.
Summon
it has,
first.
Well, dude, there's nowhere you can summon a Link monster too, right? Oh, it is a synchro.
Synchro for
Scarlet Red Dragon
Red Dragon Archfiend. You're going to destroy everything that has everything that's special summoned with fewer attack points.
Luckily, his Borload, Savage, Dispatter, and Chaos Angel are all stronger than the Scarlet. Scarlet, one of my favorite synchro monsters.
I love this monster.
It's so awesome. I hope some of you out there caught our live duel from the NAWCQ where we saw Jack Atlas taking on Gong Strong.
It's the winning monster in there with the absolute power force spell.
It was pretty cool. I mean, if I'm Jeong in this position, I would be considered just conceding. I don't think there's much of a winning position here.
There's not.
So you're just running the clock down for almost no reason.
And it's not like these are fast decks to play. I feel like you'd want to save time here. However, it's also the case that there's not a lot of concessions over in Japan or the other Asian territories as well.
True.
In fact, it's just not allowed in some tournaments.
And not the case over for us in the TCG.
No.
We encourage it, in fact.
In this tournament, you are allowed to call a judge and be like, hey, I need to concede. Just look at the board and see why.
Like, is this shuffling necessary? Like, when you're already in this position, like, taking the time to adequately randomize your deck when you probably won't be drawing another card the remainder of this duel, but we'll see.
And now we go to battle.
He has so much damage on the field. I think like 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 5, 15, 5.
It's 5 digits. And you only start with 4.
But let's go and take the time to do the math and make sure we're okay here. Oh, is he telling the judge he wants to concede now?
Now
okay.
He's going to concede, okay.
Well, that's game 1. Putting on a Dragon Link clinic, showing why Dragon Link is one of the decks to play here this weekend. Like, it has a lot of like variety of ways it can draw that are so strong, and we've seen it multiple times now. If it goes first and can establish that board, it's tough for a lot of decks to break through. All those dragon monsters, like Bestial Dispatter, has been a huge card for that deck that has really brought Dragon Link back into the fold.
One thing that's been interesting is that all the Dragon Link games, they've just been unopposed on turn 1. The opponent has drawn no interaction at all.
And barely any Ash Blossoms, Infinite Impermanence, anything like that. They've just been able to pretty much do whatever they wanted. I guess Paulie did face an Infinite Impermanence and played through that even. But that was with every single card in his hand.
The Impermanence came at the very end after everything happened.
Yeah, a little weird on that timing there. But
so there hasn't been a whole lot of opposition to the Dragon Link decks that we've seen so far.
Yeah, the Rock, Nibiru the Primal Being, we haven't seen it come down for anyone so far in this tournament. I wonder if maybe that's a card that's not been popular, included in a lot of these players' decks this weekend.
That's interesting. So if you think everyone is playing Labyrinth, maybe you don't play it. If you think everyone's playing Dragon Link, maybe you do. But if you think there's going to be both, like the people who want to play a slower deck are going to run Labyrinth, the people who want to play a heavy combo deck are going to play Dragon Link, do you main deck that or not?
Yeah, it's a tough call. Dragon Link, I always like the main deck because at least it's a light monster. You can discard it with like Chaos Space. There's a lot of like things that you can discard. If you get to Romulus, you can just discard the Nibiru with a Dragon Ravine or something to get Absa Router. Like, I'm one of those guys who likes to have 3 maneuvers in my main deck going into any tournament, honestly, because it's just, I don't want to lose to those combo decks. Like the control decks, like if they go first, it's going to be much tougher to beat them. But if I'm going second against a combo deck and I don't have something like Nibiru, Infinite Permanence, Ash Blossom, there's almost no chance to come back.
Now, is there like a middle ground where you play something like Droll and Lockbird to get around, you know, both Dragon Link and Vanquish Soul, and I guess things like this Tearlament deck as well? You could get around a lot of stuff with Droll and Lockbird too. Yeah,
I think Droll and Lockbird might be a safer call in this tournament. I'd be surprised if there wasn't anyone in the WCS main decking copies of Droll and Lockbird, but definitely one of those cards you always want to have around just because those combo decks can be so strong.
Yeah, we saw one in Game 2 of the first round, but I don't think we've seen one since, so can't really tell right now whether it's popular or not. But, you know, maybe as we continue going through the day, we will get an idea, especially if you go into these Game 2s and 3s. You're more likely to see it there than in Game 1.
True, yeah. I think a lot of players built their decks in Game 1 to focus on go first, be well-rounded, and not so focused on those disruptions from the hand. I mean, notoriously, I like Nibiru and Dragon Link because back when you Chaos Ruler, it's one of those cards you can add off the Chaos Ruler while you're coming off and be like, oh, I'm going to make sure I'm going to ensure that I'm going to be able to win this game. Because even if you break my board, I still have this Nibiru you're going to have to deal with afterwards. But Chaos Ruler's not around here for the WCS, so not included. But
it's not, and you can see that Johan is really missing it right now. That's one of the key things that has kept Tearlament so viable in the various OCG territories. The fact that if they can make a level 8 synchro, oftentimes with Revolution Synchron.
One of my favorite cards out of Duelist Next is
Synchron into the Ancient Fairy Dragon, get a planet, bring it back, make Chaos Ruler with it, and just go to town. It's really, really incredibly powerful and not allowed anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, Duelist Next is not legal this weekend for the WCS, but one of my favorite sets in a while. It has a lot of awesome cards. Revolution Synchron, you mentioned, is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like the 5D stuff.
Yeah, the Crimson Dragon, amazing. Definitely a lot of cool cards in Duelist Next. It just released a little too close to the WCS to where it would be fair for everyone to play at the same, because our players would only have a couple of weeks from North America to even practice with the cards. Meanwhile, it's been out for, you know, maybe the past 3 months in the OCG territories.
I'm also an Altergeist enjoyer, so things in there for me. Lots of good stuff in there.
Definitely.
Pearly would love that Pearly Noir, but
it's so
not
good.
this weekend. Not this weekend.
Yep, the new Noir is really fantastic. It helps you make sure you always have access to that Pearly. But we're here at the WCS, and, you know, seeing like all these awesome players. I mean, Dragon Link was one of the decks we were looking out for going into the tournament, and it's really proving itself to be why it was one of the contenders, one of the choices for a lot of our players, because it is just so strong.
All right, here we are heading into game number 2. Johan versus Santanantana.
Now, we get to see what Tearlaments gets to do when they go first. Ooh.
So Johan gets to go first.
All right, let's see what he decides to start with here. Look at him go. We're gonna go main phase.
I mean, any game where you open your one of Perlarino's got to be better than one where you don't.
Definitely. Look, it's kind of funny to see the rare Pellerino.
Satanantana is thinking about this. Not many Tearlament monsters allowed in the deck, and he uses the Ash Blossom here, betting on Johan not having any of them.
But unfortunately, he has Medora, discard Agido.
Limited Medora, discard limited Agido. That's incredible.
It's going to be...
oh my goodness! No way!
It's 2 names.
Double tier monster, Herald. Oh, that triple tactics talent is interesting.
Yeah, if he had one, he'd be able to use it right now. I love triple tactics talent in decks that where you know your opponent's going to have cards from the hand to activate, that you'll be able to use it when you're going first.
My goodness.
Yeah, depending on what Jeong has in his hand, this could be pretty advantageous. He might just trigger Havness here. You want to save Merly just in case you go into something like a Sprite Sprint later on to be able to send down Tearlament's Merly to be able to fuse. So you might just go Havness here, but did he say no effects? Oh, no effects, I guess.
No effects, activate Foolish Burial Goods.
Interesting. I guess there is no Tearlament's Kictalis to go into with those two monsters, but
he's sending the last one. There's Sharon getting them all out of the deck.
So he looks like he may be just looking to go for a rank 4 play. Maybe Baguska pass.
So Celiac adds Sharon. Sharon, special summon.
Discards Helshadal.
Hits Kelbeck Agido. Crime.
So he's going to have both of the shufflers online, Keldo and Mudora. Hits both of the millers, Kelbeck and Agido.
If your whole deck is one-ofs, I guess I can't be that surprised when you say you're hitting one-ofs over and over and over again.
Ooh, Thrust in the deck. Interesting, he has Thrust in the deck going first in game 2. Well, I guess that means he probably included some sort of trap card he would want to set. That would be advantageous.
Set rotation.
Yeah, set rotation, lots of field spells in the deck, pretty cool. And he's also going to hit the Beast.
Shadow Beast.
Yep, so he'll get a draw as well.
Is that Kashtira Unicorn? The one of Kashtira Unicorn.
He plays the Pressure Planet Wraithoth. Why not throw it in there? I think
that's got to be the other field spell then, right?
Mm-hmm. So that kind of alludes that he might play some Kashtira spell cards, like maybe Kashtira Birth.
I wanna see this deck now. This is wild.
So I think Meta Noise, when it's sent, lets you add back a Tearlament monster from your graveyard to your hand.
It certainly does.
Draws one from Shadal Beast, adds back the Tearlament's Mereleaf to the hand. He still has the normal summon, right?
He is not normal summon.
So he has
a special.
Okay. I think I might have saw what he drew. We'll have to see if it is, in fact.
You got a rank 4.
Not Baguska. It's going to be Time Thief
Redoer.
I know you're a big Time Thief fan.
I play Time Thieves in any Xyz festival I can in Master Duel. Time Thief Redoer, really interesting here because it's an effect to detach. So he's activating Time Thief Redoer's effect, detaches a monster at resolution, which you can then trigger the Sharon.
Pretty cool. And it's going to come back, too. And there's definitely trap cards in the Dragon Link deck that you might be able to hit with the Redoer off the top of the deck to make it a form of disruption as well.
And we're sending Reinhardt, Sharon, and Hapness. All those go back, and that'll make Kaleidoheart. Tearlament's Kaleidoheart.
Kaleidoheart, a really strong card. On summon, or if an Aqua monster is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle a card in your opponent's field back into the deck once per turn. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it back and then send any Aqua from your deck to the graveyard. So it provides disruption and can lead you to more synchro summons, or sorry, fusion summons.
So we saw all 4 of the Earth Fairies. They're all in the graveyard now.
It's okay if they're limited.
And both 5s.
Maybe this is why he's undefeated with Tearlaments. The limitations don't make a difference. He opened up Parallel Rhino both the games as well.
And it looks like Santanatana is just...
Is he calling it?
It looks like he's calling it. I mean, I might too after I watch that. That's a lot.
I think the shufflers are gonna give him a tough time there. Maybe his hand not too strong, and realizing, because you can get that point where your opponent's turn, you can look at your hand and be like, is there any card in my deck I can draw that's gonna help me get back into this game? And if the answer is no, you might as well go to the next one.
Yeah, that's just absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal.
I would say, I mean, it was a great. All the cards that were sent from the deck to the graveyard were pretty insane, but just to be that way,
it was like a bunch of safe cards, but nothing good to get back with them.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. It was just a Kaleidoheart, not too crazy. So it looks like they are shuffling up.
So under 10 minutes left in the round here.
Yeah, time winding down. The game one probably went a little longer than it needed to.
It did. I think that's one where you could have saved some time for this final game and maybe try to avoid a draw. The Santanatana already has a draw on his record. He's at 7 points right now. 2 wins and a draw. 2 draws kind of hurts. That puts you in this weird nebulous zone where you really can't be losing a whole lot of games. Like, you can lose 1, but 2, maybe not.
Yeah, 2 draws and a loss might be okay, but yeah, 2, you'll guarantee to be out of the tournament with 2 losses for sure. Yeah, you definitely don't want to take another draw. And you're going to be behind anyone that's with only 2 losses when you're X1 and 2, I believe. Seeing 2 losses, maybe you might be 1 ahead of them, but no, you'll definitely be below them. You'll be right below the X2s, but above all the X3s. But it's definitely not where you want to be at. You want to make sure you limit your stuff to one draw, because one loss and one draw, you have a chance. Two losses and one draw, I don't know if you're going to be able to make it in either, though.
I kind of doubt it, and especially because there's so few players and you're playing more rounds in this case. So it messes with the math a little bit. We normally don't have to think about this many rounds for this many people.
Yeah, normally with 28 people, it's going to be a 5-round tournament, but 7 rounds just to, it's going to be hard for the players to make top 8. You can't just win a couple rounds and walk your way into top 8. You have to beat a number of the best duelists in the entire world here, all competing in the same tournament. Not an easy feat by any means. But both these players, go into game 3, you kind of saw whoever went first in the first game and the second game walking away with the victories.
Just open Pellerino.
Yeah, if it goes the same way, if you open the Pellerino, you have all the cards, those Earth Fairies that are Magnificent Mavens, you're on your way to the victory. But it wasn't even like a strong board, really. It was just the Kaleido Heart. But really probably nothing in the hand there for him to really be able to jump back into the game.
And lost a lot of good starters, too.
But we also got to see, since we got to see so many cards go to the graveyard for Jeong from his deck, we got to see cards that he'll probably have in here, like Triple Tactics Thrust, Triple Tactics Talent. Those cards are great at going second as well. I mean, Thrust, probably one of the best going second cards of all time.
Yeah, it's good information. He got an overwhelming victory there, but he did have to give away that information to his opponent.
Yep, it's one of the downsides, I would say small downsides of playing Tearlaments. As you're sending all those cards from the deck to the graveyard, you do give away that information, but sometimes the players don't pay attention, but you should always keep track.
All right, here we go. And LinkSatanantana will be going first here in duel number 3.
And he's taking a second to consider the options. Normal summon the Black Metal Dragon.
There we go. That's a good one.
Best starts you can have.
Sends it to the graveyard immediately. To link summon the Striker Dragon. Go Chain Link 1 Black Metal Dragon, Chain Link 2 Striker Dragon. Do not draw the Boot Sector this time. He gets full value out of this.
I never noticed. Is that Striker Dragon's arm? Does he have are his arms really tiny? Is that? I can't tell. If he has arms. The little metal pipe is such a cool looking card.
So you get the Boot Sector and Red Eyes Darkest Metal Dragon.
Activates Branded,
regained in hand. Banishes special summon Red Eyes Darkest Metal Dragon from hand, and you can tell that they know that they're close to time and don't want to draw. They are speeding up their pace of play significantly from the way it was the rest of the match. There's the Red Eyes Darkest Metal Dragon effect. Special summon Starleech Safer from hand.
I feel like I've seen this before. Now,
got about 4 minutes left in the round. Activate Starleech Safer. This is a dangerous situation to be in too. A lot of these Dragon Link combos take a long time, and if it takes the rest of the round and then they have Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend to inflict damage, Jeong might not even get a turn.
It could be disastrous. Then it just really goes back to that game 1 taking so long to concede that game 1.
Time.
So he did put that Striker Dragon back. So he's going to be able to summon it, no effect for the Striker Dragon since he already used it. And the Wyvern Burst is going to add Collapse Serpent.
I'm doing a lot of randomization here too. I guess we need to for Branded Regained, right? If we're going to put something back and draw a card, we got to randomize now.
He offered it to shuffle a few times, yep. Banishes the Wyvern Burster, comes down the Collapse Serpent somewhere. Pick a zone, any zone. Oh, Noctovision! I love Noctovision Dragon.
Yeah, any zone except the one you need to special summon Noctovision Dragon to.
Noctovision's an awesome card. You special summon when you special summon the dragon, and you're going when you link summon the dragon, you're gonna be able to draw a card when it's used for a link summon.
And I'm gonna use it right now. Using the Noctovision Dragon effect. Just going to draw 1 card.
Noctivision, one of my favorite cards in Dragon Link.
Yeah, I like Noctivision Dragon a lot. Sometimes I'd even play one of those in Dragon Maid. Since it's a high-level dragon, and you can also special summon it out when you use some of the Link monsters as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, anytime you get that Dark Dragon on the field, you'll be able to summon it. I do like Dragon Maid a lot. Chamber Dragon Maid, definitely a card that's made a few appearances in the Dragon League strategy even.
Yeah, like there's a lot of cross-cultural stuff between those two particular decks.
Tidying is so strong, yeah. Running some options again, thinking about his plays, calculating with the finger. Down to 2 minutes.
He was playing really quickly before and seems to have slowed down significantly now. This could be either sort of math at this point.
Doing it a few times. I think he's pointed his finger at least 4 or 5 times. Checking his banish, checking the graveyard.
That's the thing, though. Like, if he got that slow play penalty at the start and he gets one now, he could just lose because of that, get a game loss.
Activates Dragon Ravine, discards the Starly Safer from the hand. Goes through the deck a couple times looking for the card that was on the front of his deck.
We got 1 minute left in the round. 1 minute. And the pace of play has not picked up at all.
Still looking through the deck.
He's doing the pointing again. We're on the pointing now. Get Rocket Tracer.
Shocker. So surprised that that's what you ended up grabbing with the
Rocket Tracer.
That's a router.
Well, he get Rocket Caliber in the other games.
That's
so
true.
It is kind of a shocker.
True.
It's a little different. But he needs a tuner this time.
Boot Sector launch is going to spell summon Tracer. He's got to think before he summons the Scarlet. He might be going into something different. Hopefully it's not the Scarlet here. Looks through the entire extra deck.
No, it's a Scarlet.
Yeah, but it was also on the front of his extra deck as he checked through everything.
Yeah, it's the Scarlet. He's going to use it here and deal 1,000 damage to Jeong. And it looks like they just called time as he summoned Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend.
Color him shocked that it's time.
And it appears that Jeong's complaining that his opponent took far too long and is repeatedly stopping to do the same math over and over again.
As he did, yes.
And the thing is, if you don't call the judge when it's happening, they can't make it stop. So at the end of this phase, that's the end of the main phase, the duel will end, and because Santanatana has higher life points, he'll be the winner of game number 3 and win the match with a 2-1 score.
Yep, and definitely still in it to win it. Yeah, he doesn't have a loss yet, right? Just a draw. So now moving on XO1,
Santanatana, yes. Yeah. So he's 3 wins, 1 draw. And his opponent's now 3 wins and 1 loss, which jumps him ahead in the standings. Santanatana has now jumped ahead of Jeong, who was 2nd place going into this round. And, if you're watching at home, if you think something is wrong, if you think anything is going wrong with your duel, you call the judge immediately. Not after it's happened, immediately. Otherwise, they can't fix it. And if you wait too long, you're just going to be out of luck. And the same thing happened in round number 1. For example, with the Azalea that was not summoned correctly, and it wasn't brought up until after the game was over, and you can't do anything about it at that point.
Yeah, anytime you think something's gone awry, immediately call a judge over, even if you're not sure, just to ask their thoughts on the situation. Like, you could be curious about this and say, like, oh, this is what happened. What do you think is the result?
You might be wrong, but you're not going to get a penalty for saying, hey, this is what's happening. I don't think this is being done right, and ask whether or not it is or not.
Yeah, I mean, it also goes back to that game 1. He could have conceded that game 1 a lot sooner, but he also could have. The game could have ended much faster in game 1. Also, there's a lot of different factors, but
yeah, you just gotta play that one out a lot longer than is necessary. Too.
Yeah, because winning game 1 is huge when time is winding down. But you just always want to be wary and cautious and know that you can call a judge anytime that you need to.
All right. Well, round number 5 is going to be starting at 2:30 p.m. That's 14:30 hours. And don't forget to make sure you have that digital tab open to watch Master Duel as well. There's a lot of fantastic stuff happening on that stream as well. Don't go away.